Welcome back to our Wealthy Mindset, where we talk about all things money, mindset, and business. It's your host, Cindy, your financial bestie and fractional CFO. And today we're talking about pricing for profit because I hear all the time, I'm booked out, I'm doing 10K, 15K, 20K months, but I still feel like I can't afford anything. I'm barely getting by month over month, and I have no idea what's going on. Now, my first question to clients when they say that to me is, how did you decide your pricing? If the answers sound anything like, I looked at what other people in the industry are charging, I looked at industry averages, I'm working with a coach, they told me what to charge, I already know you're going to be struggling. Because your pricing should be based on your personal situation, what a coach or another business owner in your industry has for expenses or lifestyle. Like, it's going to be so different. And if you want to pay yourself, you want a certain profit percentage, you got to be charging prices that align with what you want. And you want to be profitable. You don't want to be losing money month over month because you just didn't factor in your costs. I see it all the time. So today we're going to go over the common mistakes people make, how you can change up your pricing so you're actually profitable, you're actually paying yourself, and you can sustain it consistently month over month. So you make decent money, you're still not paying yourself consistently because there's nothing left over every month. You just can't figure out what's going on, and every time you raise your prices, you feel guilty. You also don't have a strategy for increasing your prices. It's just like, okay, I want to increase it by this dollar value or this percentage, and you just go ahead and do it. You're not really factoring in your costs, what you want to pay yourself, and your profit margin. So you set your price based on what other people charge or what someone told you to do. You didn't factor in the amount of time it's going to take you, if you have support, you have contractors or employees, how long it takes for them to work on that project. Now you're covering contractor support costs out of your own pocket because you're not factoring that into your price. If you don't have clear monthly revenue targets that are tied to your personal goals or even know your break-even amount, that's an issue. So even when you are selling out, you're fully booked out, your profit margins are razor thin because you have no strategy with your pricing. You're kind of winging it. So here's the 3-step formula I want to go through with you. So how do you price for profit? Well, step 1 is, what is the cost of delivering your product or service? So let's say you hired a contractor for support. It takes them 2 hours to complete the job. Let's say the cost is $150 per hour and the total amount is $300. Now, step 2 is, how much do you want to pay yourself? So let's say you want to pay yourself $200 per client service. So it's $200. Now, step 3, you add your profit margin in. So let's say your margin, you want 30%. So you would take that 30%. So how do you figure out how much you should charge then? So you're going to take the cost of delivering the service, you're going to add up how much you want to pay yourself. So that gives you $500. Then you're going to take 1 minus your profit margin, which gives you 0.70. And then you're going to take your 500 divided by the 0.70 equals 715. So if you're charging anything less than $715, you're not profitable. You're losing money. If you're charging $750 or more, you're in a good cushion. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Cindy, I can figure that out, but my clients won't pay me that. Like, why should I increase my prices or reframe things? What if people say, no, I don't want to lose my existing clients or my existing bookings? Now, I want you to know you're not building a business to stay booked. You're building a business that actually pays you, that can sustain your personal life. Otherwise, why are you running a business? If you're going to lose money month over month, you're really just running a charity. And especially if you're overbooked and underpaid, That's not a business. It's a high cost hobby and it's not serving you. And you don't need to raise your prices for everyone overnight. But you do need to know that your pricing needs a strategy. So I highly encourage you to do these 3 steps and see what you should be charging versus what you're actually charging, just see where the differences are. Because if you don't know your numbers, you'll always feel like you're behind no matter how much you make. If you take anything away from today's episode, let it be this: pricing is strategy, not emotion. If you don't factor in your real costs, your goals, your time, your business will always feel like you're never making enough and you're barely getting by. Profit shouldn't be what's left over after you pay everything out. It should be something that you actually plan for. And if you need help running this formula for your own business or figuring out where you're leaving money on the table, that's exactly what I help my clients do inside CFO on Call and in her profit era. So if you feel like you need additional support, or maybe you calculate it and you're like, I don't know where to go from here, please send me a DM on Instagram at It's Cindy Kumar. I'd love to support you through this journey. I know it can be feeling overwhelming, especially with anything numbers related. You don't need to be good at math. You don't need to be good at spreadsheets. It's just a simple equation that you need to figure out in order to be profitable. And trust me, once you figure it out, you'll know exactly how much your profit margin is per client. You'll be able to pay yourself consistently because you're factoring it into your price. If you've been following these coaches telling you need to charge this is what you need to do, understand there's no one size fits all. Your personal expenses, your business expenses, your lifestyle, and what you want from your business is going to look different from someone else. Even someone in the same industry. Maybe you have friends running similar businesses. Their finances are going to look different than yours. So keep that in mind. And it's okay, just because you were charging lower before, you do this formula and you see, okay, I should be charging more, you can make the change right away. Just because you started somewhere doesn't mean you're stuck there. So that's it for today's episode. If you found it helpful, please send me a DM on Instagram. Please share some feedback, maybe tag me. The way I can support you is you just reaching out to me. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend who also needs support figuring out her prices and making sure she is profitable. I don't run any ads. This podcast is just organic growth. So the more women it's shared with, the more women I can reach and help. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining me on Her Wealthy Mindset, and I'll see you next time.